Hello everybody, here we are tonight talking about the news of Jim Montgomery being fired as the Boston Bruins head coach and just getting into all that. So before we get started, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. Being said, let's get on into it. So Jim Montgomery did not make it a full 3 seasons with the Bruins, and I think you have the two sides here that are probably arguing at the moment about why he probably should have got fired earlier or why he deserved more time. Looking at this in the camp that is in favor of keeping him around a little bit longer, Jim saw a lot of regular season success with the team over those 2 full seasons that he had. His first year they go out and they have a historically great year. They win their division, they go out and win the President's Trophy and are the best Boston Bruins team ever. Had they gone on to win the Stanley Cup, they would have been viewed as the greatest Stanley Cup or the greatest team in NHL history, mind you. Then his second year they go out and have a 109-point season. So his worst full season was 109 points, which might not go out there and give you the President's Trophy every year, but it would give you an ability to possibly claim the top spot in your conference. Then looking at the fact too that if you include this year, he ranks, or the team ranks, first in wins in that time and had the lowest goals against per 60 in the league over that span of 120 games, meaning that they were a side that was winning a lot, not allowing a lot of goals against. A lot of people that are in that camp could point out to these things and say, we should have given him more time. But then you have the side that is saying that he should have been fired maybe a little bit earlier, or this is a good decision. And I kind of side with this camp a little bit more, mainly from the short-term perspective. Maybe this looks bad in the long-term perspective, but if you noticed one thing that I did in the opening part of that video, I talked about regular season success. There wasn't a ton of playoff success. You look at his first year, 135-point Boston team. Where do they go in the playoffs? They go nowhere. They go golfing early. They end up getting bounced in the first round by the Florida Panthers, who end up rallying back from a 3-1 series deficit, I believe. And that was just one of the many things that went wrong in this time for him, I feel. Again, seeing Florida go out there and make it to the Stanley Cup final that year hurt, but then you followed up with last year, a good regular season for the Bruins. They go out and they win in the first round. That is a good thing, but they lose in the second round. To who? Guess what? It's the Florida Panthers yet again. So you have an organization that has 2 really good regular seasons, and all they have to show for it is a second round appearance where they lose to the eventual champions and the 2-time defending Eastern Conference champs as well, which could be used maybe as an argument as to why he could have been able to stick around a little bit longer. But Boston just hasn't been able to go out there and do that much. Entering this season, they again feel like they probably should have been a playoff team. Where are they right now? 8-9-3, off to a really bad start. They've lost 3 in a row. 2 of their last 3 losses have been by 4 goals or more. And this is not a team that looks like a playoff lock, which is probably, again, where you get the side that is a little bit more vocal, saying he needed to go because they weren't going to make the playoffs, which would have been just the 3rd time, I believe, in 19 seasons for the Bruins where they would have possibly missed out. And while some people might point out the fact that technically Boston is in the final wildcard spot, if we're looking at points percentage, they wouldn't go out there and make it. And that's where we have a huge issue. Like we just talked about with the Bruins, they're an organization that not only expects to be in the playoff conversation, they expect to be firmly on one side of it, the side that is safe, that there's no talk about, oh, I wonder if they'll make it or not. Boston's just supposed to go out there and make the playoffs. And so with this, you have a huge issue. The Bruins not only had high hopes for him going into the year, with the team underperforming, what were they really going to do? They could have given him the ability to go out there and ride it out for a full year, but a quarter of the way through the season, they saw enough and said, this isn't what we want. And ironically, I feel like he was already going to be doomed from the start of the year. A while back ago, I did a video talking about coaches that were on the hot seat entering the season. Maybe I can find it and put the link up here. Anyway, I think I said in that video that Jim might have had one of the hottest seats, if not the hottest seat in the league, because Boston went out there and basically made it apparent they wanted more. I think that even if he would have went out there and had a second round appearance yet again and it was competitive, I don't even know if it would have been enough to guarantee him a 4th year at the helm. I think he probably, at the very least, needed to go out and make it to the Eastern Conference Final, or maybe have like a Game 7 overtime loss in the second round to save his job. But that was not going to be something that we probably saw in 60-some games. Instead, what we've seen is a team that's been losing a lot and losing big. Jeremy Swayman has struggled, which ironically was going to be the video that I was going to do today, which is actually going to be going out tomorrow instead. And this is a side that could go out there and make the playoffs. Again, with the East kind of looking wide open at the moment. Some teams like New York, the Islanders, I should say, seemingly out there and trying to figure out what they're going to do and how some sides can get that push going to be a wild card team. But when it comes down to it, Boston made the biggest statement so far because I believe that Jim is the first head coach to get fired. Maybe there's going to be more to come in the following weeks, but for the Bruins, they said that this is not good enough, which we all know. This is a team that probably feels like they should be over 100 points every year. Probably feels like they should every so often be a team in the Eastern Conference Final, if not going out there and winning the Stanley Cup Final. Maybe they haven't made it back since 2019. That doesn't mean that the organization from the top down doesn't expect to go out there and make it every year, if not win it. Mind you, they haven't won since 2011. So while it is tough to see Jim get the boot, maybe you have a situation where he is the next Bruce Cassidy, where the Bruins moved on from him and he won a cup with Vegas. I don't know, because Montgomery has seen success with Dallas and then now with Boston. And if he is able to go out and find another team that's relatively competitive, I think that he could have a third stint that goes well for him. So I'm hoping that he is picky going into possibly that next stint in coaching. But of course, he's probably got a lot of things going around for him. As for Boston, they are going to try to get on the right track. And I think that they could be, which we'll get on more of that topic again in the Swayman video for tomorrow. But anyway, what are your thoughts for the whole Jim Montgomery firing? Do you think this should have happened earlier? Do you think that he should have maybe been given the whole year to figure things out? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you love hockey, all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.